Hey guys, it's Arthur from My Sake Journey, where you and I explore sake together. And today I have a really special treat for you. I actually got a gift of sake from one of my friends. Her name is Chinatsu. Um, I've known her for a little while now, and she just went to Sapporo in Hokkaido and she got me some sake. And check this out. Okay, you know that this is really good sake or important sake when it comes in a box like this. So let's look at this. I'm gonna put this down here for you guys so that you guys can read it easily. Okay, so maybe you can't read it. I'll just put it up here. Okay, so if we look at this, this is a Junmai Daiginjo, and the brand is called Chitose Tsuru. Now remember, Junmai Daiginjo means that it's pure sake, only uses rice starter, a fermentation starter, and water. And daiginjo means that it's been polished really clearly so that it has a very focused flavor on something. And now I'm just going to bring this up again to show you guys. So what about the name of this? This has a very interesting name. So I know Japanese and I'm kind of a language nerd, so I want to explain this to you. So Chitose literally means 1,000 years or 1,000 years old. In this case, and tsuru means crane. Now, in Japanese culture, in traditional Japanese culture, the crane is very auspicious, and there's actually a saying in traditional Japanese, I guess, custom that cranes live 1,000 years, turtles live 10,000 years, and so a lot of times on celebrations of old age, you'll see pictures of cranes and turtles. Something to look at. And because it comes from the word crane in 1,000 years, it tends to be very auspicious, tends to be very good luck. And so actually there's a region in Hokkaido called Chitose, which is where this sake comes from. And there's also a couple places in Tokyo called Chitose too. So let's look at this together. I'm going to open up this box first. And let's look on the inside right here. I'm going to put this right here for you so you guys can see it. Oh, wow. Look at that. So you can see it has like a very nice blue like lining or like almost like a pillow for us to put the sake in. And let's look at this a little bit. I'm going to take this out and so you guys can look at this. Okay. So here you can see on the label it says Chitosetsuru Daiginjo. Now, one thing that you'll also notice here is actually if you turn on the back, I don't know if you guys can see this. No, you can't see this. On the back here is actually a picture of a crane up here because it's crane, and over here you can see it's sealed on the top, which means that they've sealed it for purification because this is a very valuable sake. And you know, as far as sake goes, this is actually on the pretty expensive end. Before we get into it, let's look at some information. So I'm going to read the background for you on here. So this over here says that it uses 100% Hokkaido rice. Now, Hokkaido is actually a very cold region in Japan. It's the most northern province of Japan. And because of the cold region, it has very high quality rice. Actually, my wife's hometown of Niigata, my wife's home prefecture of Niigata, is very famous for rice, but because of global warming, the temperatures are going up, and now Hokkaido and Akita has the best rice. I actually heard from someone that says the best rice in Japan is Niigata rice that is made and grown in Hokkaido. And so this uses 100% Hokkaido rice. And one thing I want to just show you, I think is really cool, I love about Japanese culture is look at the label. Can you see how it's actually kind of rough down here? It's not really like a clean cut. If you look on the back, you know, it's very clean, like machine cut. But if you look over here, this is much more, it looks almost like hand cut, almost ripped a little bit. You know, this is a big part of Japanese wabi-sabi culture of, just showing like beauty and imperfection, something that I love. And actually on the more expensive sake, you'll find these kind of rough edged labels. And so if you have this, it's not cheap. This is actually a sign of high quality. So let's look at the back here. So the back here says that the seimai buai is 40%, which means 60% of the rice grain has been shaved off, has been polished, and only 40% remains. That means we're going to have a very clean, a very crisp flavor that's focusing on a specific flavor. There's not going to be much zatsumi or variety of flavors or complexity. So this is great for someone who, if you like the flavor and you want to experience that one flavor, this is going to be a great sake for you. Let's get into drinking it. So I have to break this label first. Okay. I feel kind of bad about this. Maybe I have to rip this off like this. Oh man, but this is such a beautiful label. I'll get it again. I'll get it again. I'll keep it. This could almost be like a collector's item. Okay. Great. All right. Now, I ripped off the Tsuru right there. Okay. Let's open this up and let's taste this. Okay. Let's go for the initial pour. Wow. Okay, so probably out of all the sakes that I've shown on this channel so far, I've only shown a couple. This is probably going to be the clearest sake, I think. Here, let me just put this here for you guys. Yeah, so let's look at the color first. So I'm going to put this paper down here for you guys to look at it. It doesn't have very much coloration. It's pretty clear. That's a testament to the purity of it and how much rice grain has been shaved off. Like in the previous ones, we had genshu, which has been which is sake that has no water added to it, and so that had more of a deeper color. But this is pretty clean. All right, let's get a taste of this. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to taste this a couple more times before I tell this. Yeah. Wow. Hmm. Hmm. So this sake is very delicious, but it's not my favorite. Let me share with you why. So first of all, this is really good for an objective perspective. This is a very good sake. One thing that I'm noticing right away first is that it has a little bit of like an alcohol-y aftertaste on it. You get that with a lot of hard liquor like vodka. You get kind of that alcohol feeling, that ethanol on your tongue. And, actually, that's one of the reasons why I tend to let sake sit for a couple days before I drink it. I open it, I take a sip, or I take two sips, and then I leave it for a couple days because that alcohol taste kind of wears off a little bit and I can taste more of the other flavors in it. But because I just opened this, that's pretty strong coming up to me. But one thing I will say is that this does have a sweetness to it, but it's not really fruity. In the other sake that we tried from Akita, or the ones that I've tried from the Tohoku region, they tend to be really fruity, but this one doesn't have much of that fruitiness in it. So if you like a sweetness, a crisp sweetness, but you don't really like the fruitiness, or you're not in the mood for fruitiness, this would be a great sake for you to try. Another thing that I've noticed about this one is that the taste doesn't linger on your tongue very long. So in other ones, if you are just drinking sake by itself, you might want to have that flavor linger, that aroma stay in your mouth. Like, and when I tried the azakura, the aroma kind of came all over and it even went up to my nose and it really lingered in my nose. This doesn't have that. This is a very nice, clean experience. And so if you want to have a sake that has a nice, sweet taste, doesn't have a lot of complexity to it, but just zeroes in on what tastes good and just gives you that and doesn't give you much more, this is a great sake. Now, would I recommend this to someone who has not tried sake in the past, who is kind of new to this? I don't really think so. Like I said, this is almost like a high quality kitchen knife for a specific task. Like professional cooks, they always have different kinds of knives in their house, but people like me, we tend to have like only one or two kinds of knives in our house. So for people who want to know what they want, this is great. But for people who want to kind of experience more general sake, who want to experience a wider variety of sake, I would not recommend this because, like I said, it zeroes in on one taste. It doesn't give you that variety, that complexity. Let me just take one more sip so I can get this for you guys. Let's see. Yeah. So this is very interesting. So a lot of times, it's a very constant, very, very steady, stable experience. A lot of times when you have sake, you'll have a strong peak in flavor in the beginning. Then as it stays in your mouth, it just kind of levels off a little bit, and then when you swallow it and you're just getting the aroma, it slowly tends to dissipate from your mouth. But this one is super constant from the very beginning. I didn't get any sort of like impact that I would get from another sake. This is very, very steady. It's almost like monotonous is not a good word, but it is like that. It's very constant, very steady. And so there's not much variety that happens within this sake. But if you're pairing this with food, that's what you want. You don't want to have a lot of that experience. If you're drinking it by itself, you might want to have more variety of the experience. But yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you want. So I think this would be a very good sake to have with food, to pair with food, because it's very, very stable. But yeah, I hope this was an interesting video for you. I hope this was helpful for you. And yeah, I put information about the brewer down in the description box below. And if you have any questions about sake, or there's anything you want me to share on this channel, please let me know. And yeah, until next time, enjoy your sake adventures. I'll see you next time.